what we essentially are looking to do is share the problem. The reason we share a problem here before we share the solution is to really get someone's investment into the idea that they may or may not have that problem. So the way I like to do this is something called a belief and trust statement. Do you know how? Do you know how? So essentially, you're gonna share the problem. You know how traffic's always backed up on the highway? What we do is provide carpools. Share the problem, share the solution. What we do is, so right now, think of how you might phrase this. Do you know how? And then what's the common problem? Because when people share a common problem, you say something that people obviously know to be true, they see what you say as being true. And then when you share the solution, it can open up the curiosity where you can get invited to share more about more than just you have more than 8 seconds. Maybe now you have a minute. Okay, hey, now you got a minute of my time. So what happens then? Well, because stories are, time goes on. And you look at the great epics of like storytelling, the classical storytelling methods, what is it? There's supposedly like only 7 or 8 types of stories, man versus man, or man or woman versus man or woman, however you want to say it. Man versus self, humankind versus humankind versus a monster, humankind versus religion, right? These are like common story types. And we've discussed in here the shapes of stories. So how do we come up with lots of stories for after we get this part? Because this part is almost easy, right? Do you know how? Share the problem, something that people can conceptually understand as to be the problem. Do you know how it's difficult to get the amount of water and hydration we need every day? What we do is provide packets of hyper